All right, let's get rolling. Brian Jenkins leads all of our customer-facing stuff. He works with a lot of customers. He has seen more different types of situations and ways of doing races and ways of doing promotion than probably anybody in this room by a factor of 5.
A lot of bad ideas.
And a lot of bad ideas.
Some of them I thought were good ideas.
Well, yeah, you've come up with some of those. Anyway, Brian's going to go through quick hits for advanced users. If you've been to this conference before, this is always one of my favorite sessions.
Great. Kind of summarize with Bob. This is generally, we're going to go pretty fast. The goal of this is trying to find something here that will potentially save you time. Because that's the idea of software. And so we're just going to get right into it. So the first thing is, most of you know this. We're going to start easy. The race dashboard search, top left-hand corner. This is a search box to try to find things in the system. If you honestly think that the people that work at RunSignUp have any idea where any of this stuff is, we do not. We just use the search box. Actually, the most helpful thing for us is that if you're using the search box and you come across something that you're searching for in terms of like a term, so for example, like paper entries, we didn't necessarily have that in there. We added that search term. So if you guys see things like that, let us know, and it's real easy to tag a page so that if you're looking for something like the difference between discount codes and coupon codes, we want you to use the search box so that you can find the page, because we're trying to balance the issue between a very powerful and advanced platform versus like a simple and easy to use. And you guys keep asking for more features, so use the search box. Race Insights, you'll hear about this at a variety of different times. The Race Insights system, there's 2 ways to look at it. The way that I look at it is if you get an executive summary of this conference or of something that you're attending, Race Insights is best to be used as an executive summary. It's very easy to get stuck in the minutia of our system and say, hey, why is there people coming from my competitor's website? I get that question a lot. It's probably because of Google, or who knows? Don't worry about it. Look for trends. The Race Insights system is built to help you understand, where traffic's coming from, where donations coming from, where our registration's coming from. And Jeff and the UX team are making this better by the day. So it really becomes kind of your starting point for your navigation of RunSignUp. And the other thing to point out is there's a lockbox in that top right-hand corner. Pay close attention to that lockbox. That is your get-out-of-jail-free card. Let's say you have someone that has no idea how to use RunSignUp, but they want to ask you every day how many people are registered for the race. If you give them access, that's a bad choice. So you hit that lockbox, you plug in their email, they just get access to the dashboard. That's it. Super cool. The other one is there's a little edit icon, which may be difficult to see, but it's to the right of the transactions box there. If you click on that, you can actually customize your dashboard. So for me, I'm on the board of a Casa Superhero Run. I add in a nice pink line for donations. So if that's something that's important to you, you can actually edit that and see exactly like other information beyond just the signups and transactions and things like that. So if you do drill into Race Insights, this is the type of information that you're going to see. So again, the internet is a weird place. Race Insights confirms. There's lots of people that still use Bing and something called Yahoo. And you might see that here. Don't worry. They're still signing up for your race. So you can also see transactional trends. So one of the things that you'll also notice is that in the top of your dashboard, let me flick back up here. The top part, the overview, you can actually click on that. And you can actually select things like transactions or registrations and start drilling in and getting different visual information. So what I recommend is just kind of clicking through there, finding things that you might find interesting or new information that you can visualize. So just take some time to navigate through that. And if you have feedback, send it to ux@runsignup.com, right, Jeff? Yeah. This is one that I was actually sitting next to Troy from Knoxville Track Club, and I showed him this yesterday. This is a huge time saver. So if you click on your race name when you're in the dashboard, you're sitting there, the race name at the top of the page, and you click on the little arrow, the down arrow there, it opens up the list of events that you're associated with. It's like, okay, well, great, it's not really that helpful. Here's where it's helpful. So sometimes, either yourself or myself, we have to do something for 10 races, right? We've got to do the same task 10 times. Now, if you click on this, the page that you're navigating from, it will take you to the same page on the next race. A great example of something like this is, let's say a couple customers have complained about the Find a Participant feature, and you go to the Miscellaneous Settings page and disable that. You want to disable it for 10 other races. You could quickly click on that box, uncheck it, click the drop arrow, go to the next race, do the same thing. So when you're trying to do something repetitive, that's where it's extremely good. So this one is probably going to be the most talked about feature leaving this conference. So there's two ways that right now that it really works. So the big concept is we work with series. Many of you put on series, and you want an efficient way for the participants to be able to sign up for all 5 races in the series, so you can build that type of bundle. And that's very helpful because what it's going to do is it's going to put the participant's record in all 5 races for you. So, if you set bib assignment rules for each one of those 5 races, they're going to get plugged into that. If they were to look themselves up in any one of those races, they'd be there as well. And also, just for t-shirts and counts, again, they're counting towards that overall for all 5 races. So that's kind of interesting. I don't think that's the real power of this, because I think the number of people that do 5 races is statistically not that significant. The number of people that do 1 race a year, statistically significant. And if you could get those people, some percentage of them, to do 2 races a year, well, maybe we have a new conference place next year. And this is, you can actually see this very elegantly with what Bob has set up here. So he's got the Scott Coffee and the Moorestown turkey trot here. And this is what I would encourage everyone. And so some of you really have perfect setups. You have a spring race and a fall race. So you can try to incentivize someone by offering a specific price or a discount to sign up for both right now. So when they go to the race page, they'll see the 10K, the 5K, and then the bundle. Now part of this too is that you can name your bundle. So I was talking to one of our customers who does a wine race, and I was telling someone yesterday they can offer like a half bottle or a full bottle or the whole case. So you can make sure that it's fun. And so I really think that if you walk away with the multi-race, the series is something interesting, but what I'm calling it is the upsell. So when we go on Amazon, they all try to upsell us something. And then the next question we always get is, well, hey, I have 120 races. Can I upsell all 120 of them? It's like, sure, I guess, but it would be extremely difficult to set up, and the participant's not going to buy it. So you really want to think about this as a good meal. What pairs together well? What are natural, like if you're doing a half marathon and you have a 10K, well, that might pair really well if that 10K is leading up to that half marathon. So think about those types of things. There are some caveats to this. Number one, the money goes to the race that the participant originates in. Meaning, if I sign up for the turkey trot as the race of origination, the funds are going to the turkey trot. So if you own both races, this is merely an accounting function, right? We have a report that will tell you where to put those funds. If you want to partner with someone else, the money is coming to the race of origination. So you're going to need to settle up with them. So don't do this with Bob because he won't give you your money. Yeah.
Can you, with the bundle, can you tie that in with the scoring? Because you want to, some places want to have like you add it 3 times, like you sign up with the bundle that takes you into 3 races, and you run all 3 races. Can you like add the times?
So he's asking about I guess series scoring, correct? Yeah, we have a series scoring platform, but that's not necessarily connected to this because they don't inherently both have to be in place.
Yeah, you don't need this to do series scoring.
Okay.
So on this, just curious, with USAT triathlons, what's different? Does it check the dates for USAT?
It does, and that will be frustrating for some people because they know they're a member for race 1, but they're not necessarily a member for race 2, right? Their membership lapses, maybe the better way to put it. So the other question was about USAT. We do actually support USAT. There are going to be some additional features coming to this. I don't want to get too much into the nitty-gritty because I've got a bunch of other stuff to cover, but I would highly recommend playing with this And it does put the participants in both races. So, think about it. And then if you're having one-on-ones or conversations, really think of this as something like, how can I position this? And then worry about the logistics later. We're kind of nailing this down right now, but we wanted to show it to you guys and get it out before the symposium. So good job, Stephen. So this shows you some of the kind of the setup and the summaries here. I want to kind of skip through this so I can keep getting through some of the more stuff. When I have discussions with people about races, and generally speaking, there's a lot of people in this room that I would consider positive people, but the trends right now, some people's races aren't going up, and they're kind of focused on, numbers are kind of going down, blah, blah, blah. And quite often, I'm not seeing enough about that, or talking about marketing strategies or sales strategies that can be implemented that can have, some meaningful implementation for you. So this is one of the ones that I really like. So it's called strike-through pricing. This is something that we've been seeing since, I was born in the 80s. I can remember commercials. It was like, only right now, 1995. Boom. They put it on the TV screen. You should do this for your races. So if you believe the value of your race is $35, and you can put a strike-through price of $35 and then put the actual price as $25. So people respond to these types of cues. There's a lot of psychology that goes into things like this. It's really easy to do. And if you're doing more fun types of races, this is something that people might respond to. I'd be a little bit more hesitant potentially with like a serious hardcore trail race or something like that. But I don't think it's bad to experiment with these types of things.
Can you do strike-through pricing like multiple times, like how you can set up like the
Yes. Yeah, so the question was, can you do strike-through multiple times? So the way it works is that when you're adding your registration period, so this is under dates, pricing, and options, it gives you the option then to put whether or not you want to put strike-through pricing. So again, going into the psychology of what people buy and why they buy it is a little bit of that strike-through pricing. Then the other is using our event display options. So our kind of the color run, fun run type events, they typically have a standard and a VIP package. And so and this is something, if you've got a higher end event, I think people think I'm joking about this. Like, I would pay double for VIP porta potties. I don't know about the rest of you, but if you put that as an option, I guarantee you I will sign up for it. In these event display options, you can see very generically, we just put 10K, and you can even label it, best deal, race for new runners. Again, think about psychology. What do you buy and why do you buy it? What does your eye gravitate to? There's a reason why Lucky Charms have a red box with an awesome rainbow on it, because people like it. Yeah. If you put it in a gray box, people will not buy it. So reserved entries. I typically bring this one up because of the fact that I use this in a variety of ways. So to give you an example of one of the ways is that I have sometimes teachers that get in for a special price for like a school race. And it's $25 regardless of what day you sign up, whether it's the first or the last day. And that's kind of difficult with coupon codes because the price, generally speaking, is incrementally going up as we get closer to the race. And so reserve entries, you go in and you can either build a specific one, so I could send one to Bob with a specific price and a specific number of uses, or I could build up a multiple use one, which generates a very long custom URL. And then I send that to the PTA president or to the teachers union and say, hey, this is your special link. And you can only register through this link to get the guaranteed price of that. And you can set rules and cutoffs and things like that too. But it's extremely important to test this before sending it to someone. Make sure you go to checkout to make sure that it's $25. Because to you, it's not that hard, but just make sure you copy that URL. What many of us at RunSignUp do is we actually open on Chrome an incognito window to make sure everything works exactly the way that it's supposed to. Participants imports. This one is something that a lot of you guys are very familiar with. There is something very specific that I want to point out to you guys that I really want you to do moving forward. One of the options is that you can include registration date. So the reason registration date is important, if you were to bring in previous data, is it allows you to run, comparison reports because we have registration data. So how am I trending this year versus last year? And also as we get higher and further up on the CRM tool set, having previous data becomes more and more valuable to you. So if you want to run a 5-year participant promo, well, guess what? We need 5 years worth of your data. And if you haven't put it in our system, you should. And so this process of importing data, at times, it's just a CSV import with a mapping tool. So when it throws it in there, it's going to ask you, hey, this header says, F name. Does that mean first name? And it tries to detect things as best as possible. But most of the time, I do not see people import with registration date. And there's actually, now there's really, really, really good reason to do this. And also, if you guys attend the email marketing session later, that's something that we're going to kind of vaguely touch on in the email marketing, is that if we're emailing previous participants, of course you could just upload a list of emails into our system, or you can actually target previous participants. So this is kind of what it looks like. So once you throw a file in, it's attempting to do that mapping for you. So a lot of people get intimidated by this. I feel like anybody in this room can do it. Just, once you throw the file in, it has to be a CSV, and it's going to attempt to find the headers. If you ever run into an issue with this, best pro tip ever, copy your worksheet, open a new worksheet, paste. It's actually in my LinkedIn profile. I'm an expert copy paster.
That's why we hired him, actually.
Yeah. I copied and pasted someone else's resume. So fast registration options, this is getting a lot more popular. And there's good reason for it. People are impatient. There's probably some marketers in here, and I'm constantly in conflict with marketers because sales wants to make money, marketing wants data, and they conflict at all times. So fast registration options, in some cases, is just, hey, I want people to register faster. And that could be like if you're doing a promotion at a running store or something like that. But what's actually getting a lot more popular is, as we all know, if you actually deal with participants on race day registration is awful. You're standing in line, people scribble their information, then of course they win the race, and you think they're a 75-year-old female, it turns out they're a 25-year-old Olympic trials qualifier, and they're all pissed off. So fast registration options is that we all have supercomputers in our pockets, and you can register through that. And there's some other things that go into this, is that we can cut down by using these fast registration options, that you can cut down this information. And so we want the minimally viable information for the participant to get into your system. And then this is where we start to coordinate with the timer, is that the timer needs a certain amount of information to provide you with results, but they honestly don't care about the questions of how did you hear about your participant, or how did you hear about this race. So you want to think that through. You also really want to start promoting, and I've actually had participants, come to race directors and compliment them that they didn't have to stand in line to get registered. So this is probably the hardest thing to get people over the hook on. They're just like, look, this is the way we do things. And I understand there are certain types of races that you should not do this on. But the large majority of the races that we work with, the longer that you can leave registration open, because people are registering later, they don't care about paying more. They care about whether or not they feel like doing it, or whether the weather's good, or whatever the reason is. And so the more we can do to accommodate that, which is not just fast registration, then it becomes logistically, how are we assigning bib numbers? How are participants checking in? How are they getting their stuff? How much demand can we actually handle on race day, et cetera? There's a lot of other discussions. But we would all love to have the problem of people signing up on their phones and just walking up and they've already paid. So if you haven't looked into this, definitely look into this, and then worry about the logistics if you can get comfortable with this and you think that it's something that you can implement at your race. Because some people are implementing QR codes. I'm hit or miss on that. I think we're all, somewhat hit or miss on QR codes because we kind of see confusion on it. There's a far simpler solution. It's called the Google machine. You just say, hey Google, find me the Moorestown turkey trot. Does it for you. I'm still working on will it register for me. But if you are a habitual RunSignUp user, there's some places where we have really, really high density. Our highest density is actually in Bermuda. Just kind of saying, when do I get to go?
Well, fine. They wanted one of us to come, and Matt Avery went. Because he actually knew what to do. They needed more than copy paste.
So when you get high density areas, what ends up happening is people have a username and password, which is your email and password. And those people really like it when you leave registration open, because they are, and you guys probably notice this too, you're logged in to RunSignUp for quite long periods of time. So are your participants. So if they're habitual race day registrants, you can train those people to just sign up, on their phone. So automated emails. I'm highlighting a different one. Last year I talked about incomplete registrations and price increases, and you should do that if you're not already, especially as your company scales. These all become tasks that you have to complete. The registration follow-up email. This is very interesting if you're a charitable race. The registration follow-up emails can be used as a drip campaign over the period of time to kind of tell your story, encourage them to recruit their friends to come to your event, recruit their friends to donate to their page, etc. You can set as many registration follow-up emails as you want, but if you're a charity, definitely think about how can you start telling your story in a way that will activate that participant. Because most of the fundraising races we talk to, in my race in particular, about 5% of the people really do something with their fundraising page. The other 95% do nothing. So you can utilize this. Now, on the other side, let's say I'm a for-profit race, okay? And I'm trying to get more people to talk about my race. So one of our customers is using registration follow-up emails with our brand new swag rewards capability. So like if you refer 5 friends, you get a cool hoodie. And so what they're doing is they're using registration follow-up emails as drip campaigns to encourage people to participate in their referral program. Bring your friends. So if you've ever signed up for any of these services where they send you a set of emails to kind of tell you a story, that's the concept behind registration follow-up emails. Is that you have a set series of emails that you're going to send to participants. So that's just a couple examples of how you can utilize it. There's lots of other reasons for it. Like if you, there's Mark with Adventure Enablers. He has really, really, at times, somewhat dangerous and complicated races. He could send out a set of emails that remind people about gear, that remind people about safety and various other things, because he's got a lot more to tell his participants, and they hopefully will pay attention. So there's other use cases for this. So MailChimp, let's get a show of hands. How many people use MailChimp in some shape or fashion now? That's a pretty decent number. I would say close to half of the room. So we now have an integration with MailChimp. And so what you can do is you need to go in and set up in MailChimp your lists. So you'll have to decide how you want to set your list up for tracking. And then you're going to go into our system, and then you're going to assign the list. So you'll see that under the promotion tab in MailChimp, and then you're going to pick the list that it goes to. Now, one of the other things that we're going to do is we're also going to integrate the CRM database with this as well. So if you start using some of the CRM capabilities, building custom lists like a team captain list or a repeat participant list, you'll then be able to build that special list and then push that over to MailChimp and do whatever types of, whether it's emails. If you haven't looked into it, MailChimp has fantastic automated marketing capabilities. You can then target those people a little bit differently. So it's we have gotten some questions about integrating with Constant Contact. I don't see that right now, but maybe at some point in the future. It's not on the immediate timeline. So swag rewards, I kind of hinted at this a couple minutes ago. This is really interesting. So we've had referral rewards for cash. So refer 5 friends and get an X number of dollars back. Our big national series races don't like giving people money back. And the statistics now show that they were right. That giving people gear is much more effective than giving people money. I'm not really sure why that is. I would think that people would rather just get a refund of their credit card, but it could just be exclusivity. So it's the exact same concept of our referral rewards, except you're saying, hey, we're going to offer, and you can offer multiple tiers. So you could, offer a hat or a visor at one level, and then a sweatshirt, and then something else, or just have one goal. What our large customers are sharing with us is that if you really get people activated on this, have containable goals, because what they find is if you have 5, people will stop at 5. So making sure the number of people that will activate this is not a lot. But for whatever reason, especially if you use those registration follow-up emails as well, they seem to activate more if the rewards continue to escalate. And so it's something to really think about. A lot of you guys are really creative, and if you look around the room, there's lots of people with cool swag, and you should think about how you can use your creativity to get participants to want to bring their friends. because that's kind of the secret sauce of marketing that isn't talked about. Is give or take, we would all agree, about 50% of our people come from friends and family. So the more that we can activate them and track it and reward those people, the better. And the cool thing is if we leverage it back to CRM, next year, you're going to come back and say, hey, if you refer 3 or more people or 5 or more people, you really, really, really want those people to come back, right? Because they are bringing people to your event. That means that their lifetime customer value, which is different than like what they've just spent, is extremely high. So that's just I was blown away. Natalie Young from our team works with a couple of our series with some of the statistics that she shared, and she's seeing about 14 to 15% of registrations can be tracked to the Swagger Rewards program. Definitely something to noodle on because I think it's something you guys can all leverage in different ways. So capacity-based pricing, this is something that a few years ago was really, really hot. We still see it, and the way that I kind of recommend it now is potentially like if you have a new race, but you do have an established base, capacity-based pricing is interesting because you can kind of do a one-day promo. So you can say the first 25 entries are $10, the next 25 entries are $15, etc., and you can market around that and generate some buzz. And the cool thing too is that we also have the ability to support like after 24 hours, the capacity-based pricing can expire. So it's either how many entries did you sell or the date. So that's really nice so that you don't have to worry about like, well, we've got to sell 100 entries before we even kick into the price that we really want it to be at. So if you happen to get like a fast sellout of these first 100 entries that you're incentivizing, it'll just kick right over for you. So financial summary table. This is really fun. One of the things that I found in our industry is there's not a lot of people that like finance. They like money, they just don't want to account for it. I kind of have the same sentiments. You know, Kevin kind of sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher in my ear half the time. So what's neat about this is that there's a couple of little things that you can do within our system. So if you click on financial summary, and then there's a little transaction there that's actually clickable. So you can go in there and at the very bottom of the page is event summary. And I'll tell you why I really like that. Is what it does, if I do this after the race, so let's say I've got a 5K, a 10K, and a kids run, it gives me the revenue by event and a summary. This is not like an accounting report, but if you're meeting with your board, you're meeting with your boss or something like that, and they want kind of high-level information, that's really helpful. Now also on the financial summary page, if you scroll down, there's a view detailed summary. I love this one, that detailed summary as well, because it shows something that I think is not talked about enough. Maybe we can write a report on this. I would love to know, if everybody in this room, how much money we gave away in coupons last year. So if you click on that view detailed summary, you'll see in there it says negative coupon. And like I've sat with people, it's like, yeah, it's $12,000. Like, I mean, it's not that hard to give away money, right?
The data is in the race trends report.
Oh, it is?
It absolutely is.
I didn't read it that closely. This is one that we've had a small number of people ask us, but as our world gets a little bit more complicated, we're struggling with like implementing like a really hardcore store. And Kevin will come up here and do his Charlie Brown voice and tell you guys about sales tax at some point. That is going to become a real thing too. So the sales tax, you are responsible for that. That's something that if you're really selling a lot of gear, you really want to pay attention to that. Shopify does a wonderful job of those types of things and keeps you abreast of that kind of stuff. So if you're really heavy into that, that's something else that you can potentially leverage. It's pretty easy to add. You just go in and drop in your store. And I was actually testing this. I did not realize you could actually support multiple stores, which is really nice too. And the other cool thing about this is, how does the financials work? Like, is it separating a transaction for the Shopify?
No, you're actually taking the transaction and RunSignUp.
Okay.
So for those, but what it's going to soon do is update the inventory in Shopify.
Okay.
So the idea is that races or organizations have year-round stores on Shopify, or they work with vendors that supply stuff on Shopify. And so how do you get all that information transferred and stuff like that? And so this is the way to do it.
Yeah, this is going to be something that's going to be spoken about a little bit more. if you did not watch our Facebook Custom Audiences webinar, so I forgot to tell you guys one of the best things about my presentation. I'm really terrible at taking notes. So I took the notes for you guys, and we're doing a blog post with all this stuff. And it includes the Facebook Custom Audience webinar, because it's awesome. You'll learn a ton. The concept behind Facebook Custom Audience, for some of you guys, is very rudimentary. Is you're going to download your list, you're going to go into Facebook, and you're going to create an ad. And Facebook Custom Audiences is going to say, I want to run an ad to this specific group of people. And so the main thing that we've done in here is simplified this process so you don't have to do formatting and things like that. And the coolest one is the bottom one. So download all non-registered participants. So if you're doing a promotion, you're cleaning the list of people who haven't registered yet. And so part of the process of opening races, you should really investigate doing Facebook Custom Audiences to people who have previously registered. So you can do some targeted advertising, because that's one of the things that I tend to see is some races do a fantastic job with marketing, but they miss the thump on the opening. So you're actually spending a little bit of money to build up the opening. So this is where Facebook Custom Audience comes in. We're also going to have this capability with the CRM, so you can download it as, hey, people that have done the race 3 years or more, or something like that. Giveaway inventory. This one is a fun one. Super powerful, sometimes very confusing. So I think almost everybody in here has probably talked to us when they first did this one. So if you haven't done this, you go into your giveaways and add-ons and you go to giveaway inventory. First thing to know is that once you set this inventory, it will gray out options if you've actually exceeded that. And the other one is to know is that you need to use the shift key or the control key, depending on what you're trying to do, to pick the specific set of options. And you can even combine options. So let's say extra small and small, you end up having to combine that because your t-shirt vendor says, hey, we don't have those extra smalls. So it's very, very powerful. And the other cool thing is that if you set your inventory, you could send out a participant an email to let them know, like, hey, shirts are being ordered. And if you're going to change your size, now's the change of size. And still, even if the participant changes it, it's checking against the current inventory. So the giveaway report, this is something I was talking about real early in the dashboard. That's actually something you can quickly get to, or you can go into giveaway add-ons and giveaway reports. This gives you that chart, that breakdown. I showed this to people and I thought someone was going to cry one time because she had been doing it manually. And she was just like, I counted them all, or I was using the Excel filter. So if you've never seen this, super helpful, very easy. Miscellaneous settings. Miscellaneous settings is where we put stuff that we don't know what to do with. There's two things you're going to use on miscellaneous settings, and way more than anything else. The first one is disabling the enable participant, find a participant if that's a problem for you. The other one is custom word for race. I know a lot of you guys don't like the word race. You may have a different term, event, tour, beer, things like that. So you can pick whatever you would like it to say and save, and that'll actually update your RunSignUp nomenclature. Repeat participants. So this is something that right now it's a very quick report that you can run. So under the participants, marketing reports, repeat participants. Probably the neatest way to run this, and this is probably going to become legacy next year, is give me everyone who hasn't registered this year. So there's a checkbox to kind of filter that and then downloading that. So if you were trying to do some marketing or you were trying to target a specific group of people, filtering that so people seem to be good customers. And the other thing it does do, which is kind of neat too, is it does put, and this is only known to RunSignUp, is that it will tell you how many times that they've registered. So that's kind of nice to know as well. And it gives you options on how exact you want it to match. So the less exact that you match on, the more people it's going to match. So if you just do like first name, last name, versus first name, last name, date of birth, things like that, it's going to match. It's less exact but match more. I'm not doing so good on time, am I? I just got the no. So I wanted to stop and try to shoot out questions, because I put this list in priority, and you guys are going to get all of this. I've got it all written up for you.
Hi. Well, when you imported information from prior years that wasn't for races that were not involved with RunSignUp, are they included in things like the loyalty program? Can we report on such things like that?
Yeah. That's exactly why we want customers to start doing that or making it like an off-season priority, right? Is because we can help you with those types of reporting, and it does come down to the cleanliness of your data. But that, I mean, it is what it is, right? If you can get 80%, that's pretty good.
Hey Brian, so that non-registered past participant report that we're downloading, didn't you say that's going to be automated into Facebook ads for us at some point? The ability to do
Yeah,
that?
so that's I'm going to keep saying the words the CRM project, but that's going to be like, you're going to be able to build specific reports and then say, hey, I want to export it, or I want to create an email list off of that, or I want to create a promo, or I want to create a Facebook custom audience, or send it to MailChimp and things like that. So that's part of it, is that, you may decide next year you want to do it, if you've done 3 years or more of our race, we want to do something really special for that person.
Hi, my question is about race day registration and the fast registration options. Would it be I have a timer that I use often that brings iPads and we use them in kiosk mode to register people on race day. Would it be too confusing to offer participants either one or both, or what do you find works best?
So that's that whole logistics part. That's where people and software have to meet. To me, it's perfectly fine to do both. It just comes down to how are the bibs being assigned. That's it. So having that discussion of like, I'm going to assign bib numbers this way, and this is how we're going to handle it. Because the thing that we have to think about is like, we've got 200, 300, 400 people signing up on race day. We need to get throughput at that point. So it's basically a relief valve, right? 50 people sign up on their phone, that's 50 less people staying in line. So that's kind of the way I think about it, and that's the discussion I want to have with the timers. How are we going to assign it?
Brian, we have time for one more.
Okay.
In the broad context of like incentivizing by providing a discount for individual participants, you mentioned earlier the reserved entries. We know about the coupons. I think there's something I haven't been successful with it, if you will, for groups and teams. Is there kind of a, if you want to do this, this is your best tool for, for this kind of group, it's better to use a reserved entry.
The only time you need to use reserved entries for discounts is if the price never changes. So it's flat. Because if you think about it, otherwise the coupons or the other stuff that we're doing is always taking into account variable pricing. And in that case, we're saying, no, it's flat. And that's where I use it, and that's actually why it came to be. Specifically, it was a teacher's union that came in for a specific price.
Okay, thank you.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. Time to move on.
Jeff, I never get to finish my presentation.
Can we give a nice round of applause for Brian?